Disappointment is a common emotion that anyone can experience when their expectations or hopes are not met. When we set goals, expect specific outcomes, and when those outcomes don't happen, we often feel let down, disappointed, or even hurt. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Lessons. This is where we explore profound life philosophies and valuable lessons for personal development. Through the videos, you will find inspiring stories, essential skills to face challenges, and mindsets that help you live a meaningful life. In this video, we will explore how to overcome disappointment when expectations are not met. Let's embark on a journey of self-discovery and create positive changes in life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to not miss the latest knowledge. Now, let's get started. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BC, offering a different and powerful approach to dealing with these negative emotions. Stoicism is not just a way of living or a philosophy but also a practical tool to overcome disappointment, especially in cases where expectations are not met. Before diving into how to apply Stoic thinking to overcome disappointment, we need to understand more about the nature of disappointment. Disappointment does not naturally arise from external situations but is the result of how we respond to those situations. When we expect something, such as success at work, a good relationship, or a result we feel we deserve, we have created a specific expectation in our minds. If the actual result doesn't match this expectation, we experience disappointment. This disappointment is often accompanied by a sense of loss because we have invested our emotions in an outcome that we cannot completely control. Stoic philosophy teaches that this unrealistic attachment and expectation are the root causes of emotional pain. Stoicism emphasizes the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius, one of the famous Stoics, once said, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts." According to Stoic thought, expecting things beyond our control, such as the outcome of an event, others' actions, or even the weather, will lead to disappointment. One of the most important principles of Stoic thinking is accepting that we cannot fully control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. This means that instead of setting high expectations for specific outcomes, we should focus on the process and our actions, things within our control. For example, if you're working on a large project and hope it will succeed, instead of expecting a perfect outcome, focus on doing your best at each stage of the process. If the result doesn't meet your expectations, you don't need to feel disappointed because you have done what was within your control. In a relationship, instead of expecting others to behave in a way you want, focus on maintaining calmness and acting according to your own principles. This will help you stay peaceful even when the relationship doesn't go in the direction you expect. An important part of Stoic thinking is learning to adjust your expectations to match reality. Seneca, another famous Stoic, advised, "If you prepare your mind for hardship, you will never be surprised by it." This doesn't mean living with a pessimistic mindset but understanding that life doesn't always go according to our plans. By recognizing that things may not go as we wish, we can reduce the shock and disappointment when outcomes do not meet our expectations. In practice, this can be applied by always considering different possibilities, including the worst-case scenario. Accepting in advance that things may not go as expected will help you receive the result calmly and without being too emotionally affected. For example, before a competition, a Stoic athlete not only expects to win but also mentally prepares for the possibility of losing. They do not expect perfection or always achieving victory, but focus on their own effort during the competition. This helps them face failure, if it happens, with calmness and continue to improve. In work, when facing an important project, setting up multiple possible scenarios, including the worst-case one, will help you be mentally prepared. If the result doesn't meet your expectations, you're ready to deal with it without feeling overwhelmed. Self-control and emotional regulation. One of the pillars of Stoic thought is cultivating the ability to control oneself and manage emotions. Stoics believe we shouldn't let external events greatly impact our inner peace. Disappointment often arises from feelings of losing control or not achieving what we desire. However, according to Stoic philosophy, serenity doesn't come from controlling everything around us but from managing our reactions to them. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, taught, "It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of things." This means that the way we interpret events is the true source of disappointment, not the events themselves. Examples: If you miss out on a promotion, instead of letting disappointment and bitterness control your emotions, think of it as an opportunity to learn from mistakes or find new opportunities. This emotional control ensures you won't be crushed by something beyond your control. When facing betrayal by a friend, instead of being consumed by disappointment and pain, see it as a lesson in awareness and an opportunity to practice forgiveness. Acceptance of reality and understanding change is inevitable. Stoic thought advises us to accept reality as it is, rather than resisting or trying to change what cannot be controlled. Accepting reality doesn't mean giving up or not striving for better outcomes, but rather understanding that life is always in flux and won't always unfold as we want. One of the key lessons in Stoic philosophy is a more fatty, loving life as it is. This means loving and accepting everything that happens to us, including difficulties, failures, and disappointments. When you embrace everything that happens, you no longer feel disappointed when things don't go according to plan. Instead, you recognize that every event is part of life, and we can only control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept whatever comes to you, woven into the pattern of your life as it is." This means we should view every event, whether good or bad, as an opportunity to learn and grow. When disappointment arises, instead of being consumed by it, see it as an inevitable part of the journey and an opportunity to cultivate patience and resilience. Examples: if you fail at a job interview you had high hopes for, instead of feeling disappointed by the outcome, accept that this is a natural part of the job search process and that more opportunities will arise. The key is to maintain a positive attitude and not let this failure define your self-worth. In family life, if you expect a perfect relationship but encounter conflict or misunderstandings, learn to accept that people have differences. Accepting this will help reduce disappointment and encourage finding ways to coexist rather than resist or criticize. Developing patience and persistence. Stoic philosophy not only teaches us to accept reality but also emphasizes the importance of patience and persistence. Life is not always smooth, and we will face many failures and outcomes that do not meet our expectations. However, if we develop patience, we will overcome those challenges without becoming discouraged or giving up. Seneca once said, "He who can bear it will win." This means that if we can endure difficulties, challenges, and disappointments, we will have the chance to succeed in the long run. Patience not only helps us overcome disappointment but also builds resilience in life. Patience is the ability to understand that all good things take time to achieve. When we set overly high expectations in a short period of time, we easily become disappointed if we don't achieve them. However, if we understand that success and positive outcomes require persistence and patience, we will be less prone to disappointment. Examples: in studies or work, if you face challenges and can't achieve the desired results in a short time, instead of giving up, be patient and continue to strive. Failure today doesn't mean failure forever, and only persistence will help you achieve long-term goals. In personal relationships, if you don't see immediate changes in others, instead of becoming disappointed, cultivate patience. Personal change often happens slowly and takes time to adjust. Remaining true to your principles will help you overcome temporary disappointment. Self-reflection and introspection to understand your disappointments. An important aspect of Stoic philosophy is the ability to self-reflect and introspect. When you experience disappointment, instead of letting your emotions control you, take the time to ask yourself, "Why am I disappointed?" and "Were my expectations realistic?" Reflection helps you reevaluate your thoughts and emotions, allowing you to learn lessons and adjust your expectations for the future. By regularly reflecting, you'll realize that most unmet expectations come from setting goals that are too high or unrealistic. Stoic philosophy encourages us to take time every day to reflect on our actions and thoughts. Marcus Aurelius often wrote in his journal daily to review his thoughts and adjust his mindset. This habit was crucial in helping him overcome difficulties and disappointments. For example, if you're disappointed because a friend didn't meet your expectations, instead of blaming them, ask yourself, "What did I expect from them? Was that expectation too high? And why do I need them to act a certain way for me to feel satisfied?" You'll then realize that your disappointment stems from your own expectations, not the other person's actions. If you're disappointed because you didn't achieve a personal goal, look back at the process you've gone through. What mistakes can you learn from? And how can you adjust your actions to move further in the future? Focusing on inner values instead of external results. One of the key principles of Stoicism is focusing on inner values rather than external results. This means that instead of placing all hope on achieving external successes, such as money, fame, or accomplishments, we should focus on becoming a better version of ourselves and living according to the principles we believe in. When we depend too much on external outcomes, we easily fall into disappointment when we don't achieve them. However, if we concentrate on living a virtuous life, unaffected by external factors, we will experience less disappointment. Epictetus once said, "We cannot control events, but we can control our attitude and actions." This means that if you focus on doing your best in what you can control, you won't be obsessed with unattained results. For example, instead of worrying too much about whether you'll get promoted, focus on doing your job with diligence and integrity. If you achieve a positive result, it's a well-deserved reward. If not, you can still be proud of the work you've done. Rather than seeking recognition and praise from others, focus on living according to the values you believe in. Inner satisfaction and self-respect will help you overcome the disappointment of not receiving outside validation. Learning to let go and embrace inner peace. Finally, one of the most important lessons of Stoicism is learning to let go of things we cannot control. When you release unrealistic expectations and accept that life doesn't always go as planned, you'll find a deep inner peace. Stoics believe that inner tranquility is the highest goal one can achieve. This doesn't mean giving up all ambitions or efforts, but rather not allowing external outcomes to overly affect your mental state. Letting go doesn't mean giving up effort or being indifferent, but it's about accepting that not everything is within our control. When you learn to let go of things that can't be changed, you'll experience a more free and relaxed mental state. For example, if you're worried about an important exam or project, instead of obsessing over the final outcome, let go of the anxiety and focus on doing your best in the present moment. The result will come naturally, and you don't need to stress about it. In relationships, if you always want to control the actions or emotions of others, let go of that desire and accept that each person has their own freedom. This will help you reduce stress and disappointment when things don't go as you hoped. Practicing gratitude to transform disappointment. In Stoic philosophy, a powerful way to overcome disappointment is to practice gratitude. When faced with an unfavorable situation, instead of focusing on the negatives, seek out the positives for which you can be thankful. This will help transform your feelings of disappointment into appreciation and contentment for what you have. Epictetus advised, "Don't ask for what you don't have. Be thankful for what you do." This is a reminder that, rather than getting lost in disappointment over unmet desires, we should focus on the good already present in our lives. By practicing gratitude, we'll realize that life, though imperfect, is still full of things to appreciate. Gratitude helps us maintain emotional and mental balance, reducing stress and negativity. By focusing on the positives, you can divert attention from unmet expectations and create a more optimistic mindset that opens up new opportunities. For example, when you fail to reach a goal, instead of being disappointed, stop and consider other things in your life you can be grateful for, such as health, family, friends, or the learning experiences you've gone through. If you experience career or work setbacks, be thankful for the experience you've gained, as these challenges will provide the foundation to help you grow stronger and open more opportunities in the future. Disappointment is an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Stoics view every challenge in life as an opportunity to train the mind. Disappointment is not merely an obstacle but also a valuable lesson that helps you grow and develop yourself. When you encounter disappointment, instead of feeling stuck, see it as a test of your resilience and endurance. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle in the way becomes the way." This means that rather than viewing disappointment as a hindrance, consider it as a driving force for self-development and finding new ways to overcome challenges. Whenever you face disappointment, ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of blaming circumstances or feeling negative, find ways to draw lessons from failure and turn it into an opportunity to improve yourself. Examples: when a work project doesn't go as expected, view it as a chance to learn better management or improve your skills. Disappointment can help you reassess your approach and adjust for better results in the future. In personal relationships, if you feel disappointed by someone not meeting your expectations, see it as an opportunity to enhance communication and empathy. This will not only improve relationships but also cultivate patience and understanding. One important aspect of Stoic philosophy is learning to create distance between yourself and your emotions. Instead of allowing disappointment to dictate your actions and decisions, learn to observe it from a distance and avoid letting it overwhelm you. This helps maintain calmness and clarity, even when facing difficult situations. Epictetus taught, "It is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of them." Feelings of disappointment arise from how you interpret a situation, not from the event itself. If you can create some distance between yourself and your emotions, you will better control your reactions. Creating this distance doesn't mean avoiding emotions, it means recognizing that emotions are temporary and don't fully reflect reality. You can use the method of viewing from the outside to evaluate situations more objectively, which helps reduce negative feelings. Examples: if you feel disappointed because something didn't go as planned, instead of reacting immediately, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does my current feeling truly reflect the situation? What can I learn from this? When faced with negative feedback, rather than being swept away by disappointment, step back and consider the issue objectively. This allows you to respond wisely and not let emotions control you. Direct your mind towards positive and beautiful things. Stoic philosophy encourages us to focus on the good and positive things in life, even when things don't go our way. When you encounter disappointment, one way to overcome it is to actively shift your thoughts toward the positive things you have or what you can do to improve the situation. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you focus on positive thoughts, you'll be able to overcome disappointment more easily without being overwhelmed by negativity. By practicing positive thinking, you can not only get through difficult situations but also build a resilient and optimistic attitude towards life. This helps you move forward without allowing disappointment to hinder you. Examples: when faced with a work challenge, instead of being consumed by disappointment, focus on the skills you've developed or the new opportunities that may arise from this situation. If a personal project doesn't succeed, think about the valuable relationships you've built during the process or the next steps you can take to improve the situation. Seek support from others. Finally, another way to overcome disappointment is by seeking support from those around you. While Stoicism emphasizes self-management of emotions and situations, it doesn't mean you must face all difficulties alone. When disappointed, sharing your feelings and thoughts with trusted people can help you relieve stress and gain new perspectives. Seneca once said, "Man is a social creature. We live not for ourselves alone, but for others." This means we can find strength and motivation through connection with others, especially during tough times. Talking to others not only helps you release tension but also brings fresh insights that you may not have considered. Support from friends, family, or a community can be a great source of strength to overcome negative emotions and encourage you to keep moving forward. Examples: when you experience disappointment in work or personal life, seek out a trusted friend or colleague to share your thoughts and listen to their perspective. Emotional support from others will help you feel less alone and regain the motivation to keep striving. If you're facing significant challenges in life, don't hesitate to seek help from a counselor or therapist to help adjust your mindset and find effective ways to confront difficulties. Embrace disappointment as an inevitable part of life. Disappointment doesn't happen only to you, it is an unavoidable part of life. Stoic philosophy encourages us to embrace it rather than resist it. Life doesn't always go according to our wishes, and accepting this helps us avoid prolonged feelings of bitterness or frustration. Epictetus once said, "If you want to live a peaceful life, learn to accept what happens naturally and do not try to control things beyond your power." This means that when you can accept that life will bring both joys and sorrows, satisfaction and disappointment, you will learn to approach everything with a calm and mature attitude. When you expect that life will sometimes be difficult and things won't always run smoothly, you'll be less surprised and less knocked down by challenges. Understanding that disappointment is just part of the growth process allows you to embrace it with a more positive mindset. Example: if you set high expectations for a project and it doesn't go as planned, remember that this is normal. Nothing guarantees that everything will always be perfect, and disappointment is simply an opportunity to learn and make adjustments for the future. When facing difficulties in a relationship, rather than believing you need to avoid all conflict or disappointment, accept that no relationship is perfect. They all require time, understanding, and the ability to handle disappointment positively. Value what you can control. In Stoic philosophy, we are often reminded to focus on what we can control. This helps us stay calm and clear-headed when facing unexpected events. When you appreciate and concentrate on what is within your control, you'll feel more empowered to face disappointment. One of the fundamental Stoic principles is distinguishing between what you can and cannot control. Negative feelings often arise from trying to change or control things outside of our power. When you clearly understand the boundary between the two, it becomes easier to let go of worries and frustrations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the key to staying rational and optimistic, even when things don't turn out as expected. Example: when you are striving toward a goal, focus on doing your best with what you can control in the present instead of worrying about external factors. If the outcome doesn't meet your expectations, you'll feel less disappointed because you know you did everything within your power. If you face disappointment in a personal relationship, remember that you can't control the actions or thoughts of others. The only thing you can control is your reaction and how you handle the situation. Embrace disappointment as an inevitable part of life. Disappointment doesn't just happen to you, it's an unavoidable part of life. Stoic philosophy encourages embracing it rather than resisting it. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and accepting this helps you avoid prolonged bitterness or frustration. Epictetus once said, "If you want to live a peaceful life, learn to accept what happens naturally and stop trying to control things beyond your power." This means that when you accept that life brings both joy and sorrow, satisfaction and disappointment, you'll learn to handle everything with greater calm and maturity. When you expect life to be difficult at times and understand that it won't always go smoothly, you will be less surprised and overwhelmed by challenges. Recognizing that disappointment is part of the process of growth allows you to face it with a more positive attitude. Example: if you set high expectations for a project and it doesn't go as planned, remember that it's normal. Nothing guarantees perfection, and disappointment is just an opportunity for you to learn and adjust for the future. When facing challenges in a relationship, instead of thinking you must avoid all conflicts or disappointments, accept that no relationship is perfect. All relationships need time, empathy, and the ability to deal with disappointment positively. Appreciate what you can control. In Stoic philosophy, we are constantly reminded to focus on what we can control. This helps you stay calm and rational when faced with unexpected events. When you value and focus on what is within your control, you feel more empowered to deal with disappointment. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the distinction between what you can control and what you cannot. Negative emotions often arise from trying to change or control things beyond our power. When you clearly understand the boundary between these two areas, it becomes easier to let go of unnecessary worries and disappointment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is key to staying composed and optimistic, even when things don't go as planned. Example: when working toward a goal, focus on what you can do best in the present rather than worrying about external factors. If the outcome isn't as desired, you will feel less disappointed because you know you did everything within your power. If you face disappointment in a personal relationship, remember that you cannot control others' actions or thoughts. The only thing you can control is your response and how you handle the situation. Create a life with purpose and meaning. One of the most powerful ways to overcome disappointment is to live with purpose and meaning. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life and why you are doing it, small disappointments won't stop you. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of having a clear direction and purpose in life. If you have a strong enough reason to live and work, challenges and disappointments will be minor setbacks on the long journey. When you encounter disappointment, return to your bigger goals and remember that it is just a temporary setback on the path to achieving more important things. Seneca said, "Life is not about how long you live, but how well you live." When you have a purpose, you are less likely to be swept away by temporary failures or disappointments, and you'll have more motivation to keep moving forward. Example: if you don't achieve the desired result in a work project, remember that work is just one part of life. Your larger goal may be personal growth, creating value for others, or building a sustainable career. When a big dream is temporarily interrupted, remember that life is a long journey, and each disappointment provides an opportunity to learn, adjust, and get closer to your ultimate goal. Build patience and perseverance. Patience and perseverance are important qualities that Stoic philosophy emphasizes in dealing with disappointment. Disappointment often arises when you expect things to happen quickly or easily. However, Real life requires persistence and time to achieve success or overcome challenges. The Stoics encourage you to accept delays and not be easily defeated by initial difficulties. Instead of expecting things to happen instantly, focus on maintaining perseverance. Taking small steps toward your goal without giving up. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Continue steadfastly, patiently, and without ceasing, because each small step leads to the final result." Disappointment will lessen as you learn to be patient and not demand immediate perfection. Example, when you feel disappointed by the slow progress of achieving a goal, remind yourself that all great things take time. Patience and perseverance will help you overcome temporary failures and achieve long-term success. If you are struggling to develop a new skill, keep practicing and remember that mastery takes time and dedication. Disappointment is simply a natural part of the learning and growth process. Finally, learn to forgive yourself and others. Disappointment sometimes arises when you can't meet your own expectations or when others fall short of what you hoped for. Stoic philosophy reminds us that no one is perfect and everyone makes mistakes. When you can forgive yourself for failures and forgive others for not meeting your expectations, you will feel lighter and less burdened by lasting disappointment. Epictetus said, "Humans are fallible, and we should not expect perfection from anyone, including ourselves." Forgiveness is the key to releasing yourself from emotional burdens and moving forward with greater peace. Example, if you fail to complete a task as planned, instead of blaming yourself excessively, learn to forgive yourself and understand that no one achieves everything perfectly. Failure is a part of growth. If someone else disappoints you, forgive them and understand that they, too, have their own limitations and struggles. Forgiveness doesn't mean accepting every behavior, but it is a way to maintain peace and not let disappointment control you. Conclusion. Overcoming disappointment when expectations are not met requires mental and emotional training. Stoic philosophy provides important principles to face this challenge calmly and wisely. By focusing on what you can control, you reduce unnecessary stress and disappointment, changing your perspective, accepting failure as an inevitable part of life, and learning to forgive yourself and others help maintain inner peace. Stoic philosophy emphasizes patience and perseverance, encouraging us to take small steps every day, even when results are not as expected. When we learn to let go of unrealistic expectations and instead live with purpose and greater meaning, we feel less disappointed. Every disappointment is a valuable lesson, an opportunity for growth. Disappointment is not an enemy but a teacher that strengthens your mind and will. With a Stoic mindset, you will not only overcome disappointment but also become stronger, more self-controlled, and more peaceful, living a life full of meaning and tranquility. Wishing you continued success and happiness on your journey.